How's it rockin', Dween Nation? This is the Dween Sports Podcast. We're about to get underway. But before we do, we'd love if you could like, comment, subscribe, or share. We are posting weekly sports content, and we want to build up the brand that is Dween Sports. Thank you all, and enjoy.
Welcome in, Dween Nation. This is your host, Justin Paez, alongside Genoa, Agu, Dello, and wow, the conference championships have come and gone, and we have two teams left headed to Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. What a day of football it was. Two very exciting games. No ref shenanigans, so I'm overall very happy. I know my team won, but overall, like even the Chiefs pulling out the victory today, I'm not overtly angry because nothing else determined the game, despite like besides the players. So overall, really great day of football, and we have our final two. Which, hey, give Genoa some credit right here. He said before the season, Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl, and he is correct. We get a rematch of the 2022 Super Bowl. But before we dive into how these games played out with the Commanders and Eagles and the Bills and the Chiefs and how it sets up for the Super Bowl, how are you doing, Genoa?
Yo, Dween Nation, Justin, yup, and our, preseason predictions, when we did divisional picks, and then we did, the playoffs each round. I did have Kansas City and Philadelphia, Justin. It's so crazy that was like, nearly 7, 8 months ago. And now, Justin, we really are here 2 weeks away from the big game in the Superdome. We have a rematch of 2 years ago, Justin, but I mean, it's so crazy how time flies, but what a fun season. Before we kind of head, I want to enjoy these next 2 weeks, right? The road to the Super Bowl. Because this is the final football game we'll have until, that first Hall of Fame game in the first week of August. And so, Justin, it's so exciting on championship weekend when you find out the two teams. To me, it's kind of like a Christmas present, like that extra Christmas present, that you're looking forward to. Like you have that main Christmas present, right? But then you have that other one where you're like, yeah, I'm excited to have that one too. That's what championship weekend. You're excited to see the two teams to make it to the Super Bowl. What a championship weekend, Justin! It was actually
Oh yeah.
very entertaining, very in some ways, yeah, high scoring, and I'm so excited for the Super Bowl in 2 weeks and what a game is going to be on February 9th.
Yeah, man. I mean, both games hit the over. Like points were scored, which is fun for us fans to see that. Obviously, the Eagles did it themselves. 55 they put up, which was crazy. And that just leads me to really wanting to talk about this first game. Commanders, Eagles, part three for this season. Obviously, they're division rivals. They were split 1-1 throughout the regular season, and they had this matchup here. And pretty quickly, Philadelphia established their lead, and they didn't budge. There was a couple of times it got a little bit closer, but Philly pulled away in the second half, led by Saquon Barkley's 3 touchdowns and Jalen Hurts' 3 rushing touchdowns and 1 passing touchdown. What a game from the Eagles offense. Kellen Moore deserves a lot of credit for what he called. And Jalen Hurts, too. We were worried a little bit. Maybe he wasn't going to be as mobile with the knee injury from last week, but there was no issues there for him. A.J. Brown gets in the end zone, which I had a touchdown guarantee. So Philadelphia, man. Yeah, we were on fire. We both had our picks correct too. With the teams moving on, and I mean, Philadelphia, man, it was awesome. Saquon Barkley, who would have thought an addition of one player would really change just about everything? He has been everything, and for a lot of the game, I feel like he only had 15 carries, I believe. So Gainwell was getting it, and then obviously when they had the massive lead, they put in Will Shipley. So there were still other running backs being used. They didn't have to overuse Saquon to win this football game. So great win from Philly. What are your thoughts with Philadelphia, this game, and even the Commanders?
Justin, first of all, in all three games there again, which Washington, Saquon Barkley has absolutely 8.
Mm-hmm.
And he had touchdowns outside of 60 yards here. I'm looking at his stats. The first matchup there, I think this was I want to say this was week 8, maybe on that Thursday night. I think he had a 68-yard touchdown. And then in the last couple weeks of the season, I think the last 3, down to the last 3, there's probably like week 16 or 16 here. He had one out like 55 yards against Washington as well. And then today, the first play from scrimmage, Justin takes it all the way to the house. I think that was 73 yards. I could be mistaken. But Justin, he is a phenomenal player there, edging his name. I was thinking like he possibly could be edging his name into Philadelphia Eagles greats. Like
Yeah.
we're
Yep.
looking at the greats: Donovan McNabb, Randall Cunningham. You want to add Nick Foles, maybe Terrell Owens, Deshaun Jackson, Shady McCoy. I mean, we can go on and on and on. This guy Saquon Barkley is edging his name into that Philadelphia Eagles history. I mean, he might have a statue next to Foles and Peterson there. If when it's all said and done, there, even if Philadelphia, isn't able to pull this one out, Justin, in 2 weeks, I think the window is still open for them because that defense is very young. And I mean, it was such a fun game to watch. I mean, you get a total about 90 something points here, but it's like with Jaden Daniels, he just seems so poised. I don't really give this loss to him. He's just a rookie quarterback. Like it's just he doesn't have that experience. It's raw talent in the NFC Championship game on the road, and it's like for me, I think Jaden Daniels did his role there. It's really Washington's defense not being able to stop
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. What combined for like 5 rushing touchdowns today? Not to mention Shipley at the end, like the final drive. He took one to the house. I think he scored a couple plays later. I
Yeah.
don't know who. Yeah, and so Shipley looks good now. Not to mention that Gainwell did get hurt there, Justin. I don't know what the injury is on that. He did kind of when I think he went
It
out
was
before
concussion.
halftime. Concussion. Okay, so I think he should be good to go for the Super Bowl there if it's a concussion. But if not, Justin, the Eagles have something to use here, a gadget in the final game of the season, in the biggest game of the season.
Yeah, and for Philadelphia fans, obviously the goal is let's win the Super Bowl in 2 weeks, and
Mhm.
I will be firmly behind that. That this is like this is their game. This is their game to get their get back on the Chiefs from 2 years ago. But even if they don't pull it off, the future is so bright. You have Jalen
Mhm.
Hurts locked up for years with the contract. You extended AJ and Devonta Smith this past offseason, and you signed Saquon Barkley this offseason. So you got all your offense intact. And then, as you mentioned, you got the Georgia Bulldogs on defense: Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, Keely Ringo. You got the 2 rookie corners in Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. All your best players are young talent. So things are looking good there. And then, as you mentioned, yeah, great season from the Commanders. Obviously, they were at a point where nobody projected them to be. Jaden Daniels, phenomenal. This offense, obviously, Jaden Daniels had 1 turnover, but the other 3 turnovers weren't his fault. It was an Eckler
Yeah.
fumble, a McNichols fumble, and a Diami Brown fumble. So this game just got out of control. And it's to me, I place no real blame on Jaden Daniels. I think he did have a couple bad passes, but not really any major errors that cost his team besides the 1 interception. But I think the Commanders, what they're missing and what they'll look for heading into the offseason is one more pass catcher. One more pass catcher to complement Terry McLaurin. And then also that defense, as you mentioned, you're right. 55 points put on you. I know 4 turnovers doesn't help in stopping, Philadelphia's score. But yeah, that defense needs some improvements. The Marshawn Lattimore to me was just he draws so many fouls. I don't know how great of a corner he still is. I know earlier in New Orleans in his career he was pretty locked down, but now he's kind of fallen off. And so I think they need help in that secondary and linebacker room because Bobby Wagner's getting old. But great season from the Commanders. But heading for Philadelphia towards the Super Bowl, what you got to look forward to is keep trying to get your offense involved with your wide receivers. Devonta Smith didn't have a big game, not that he really needed to. I love seeing AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert. They really contributed in big ways. And I honestly, actually, a little bit about the Commanders too. What a game was for Zach Ertz. This could be his last game of his career. He's getting old, and he was phenomenal. 11 catches over 100 yards. Great season for him. He revitalized his entire career because I thought, after he went to Arizona, things were going down. Then he got traded to Washington. And we were like, wow, this might just he might as well just call it. And he
Yeah.
played really great this year and was the security blanket in this game and all season for Jaden Daniels. But Commanders looking forward. Hopefully you don't lose Cliff Kingsbury. I really hope you don't because I would love to see this offense run it back. But there are still 1 or 2 spots. The Saints' job is still open. And yeah, hopefully he doesn't go there. So we can see Jaden Daniels work some more magic with that offensive play calling. But yeah, moving to game 2, Chiefs, Bills. It was a great game. Another one-score performance where the Chiefs are able to pull it out again. But what a game it was. And I want to get your take. What is your take on this game?
Justin, it's a take that I've had all year. This defense for Kansas City, like I said, they're not going to get you a pick six. They're not going to get you a sack, forced fumble. They're not anything like Seattle 2014 or Broncos 2015. But Justin, they make plays when it matters the most. Fourth down there, Josh Allen. I think it was 4th and 5 there, right before. I think it was after the 2-minute warning or right before the 2-minute warning. Josh Allen with the ball there, 4th and 5, and that pressure. They had five people already, going at him. But it's, I would say that this defense is so phenomenal. They just make stops. Like, it's just critical. It's clutch. It's the best possible scenario. Like, yes, they'll give up a touchdown in the second. They might give up a touchdown in the third. But fourth down, like fourth quarter, when it's time to get a stop, they get that extra pressure. They get that batted pass. That was another play that they had in that final drive where Josh Allen threw like a really sweet throw and it was batted down. Could have been picked off. And it's like they make those plays. They give you that 3rd and 8, that 2nd and 9. That's like, they get the, tackle for loss on first down.
Yeah.
It's just the little things Kansas City does. Spagnuolo, I saw a stat today that he is, I think, the first coordinator with 4 Super Bowl rings, something like that. Because he has one with New York and he has 3 now with Kansas City. And it's like, this guy knows how to dial up the pressure. I remember a few years ago where Kansas City's defense was considered one of the worst defenses, dating all the way back to the first couple years of Andy Reid being there with Alex Smith, Jamal Charles, Dwayne Bowe. And then, once they started elevating to getting Travis Kelce and then Kareem Hunt and Mahomes, they were still kind of a bad defense. I remember Mahomes' first year as a starter and the year he won MVP, they were considered one of the worst defenses in the league. And that's how Tom Brady and the Patriots were able to run all over them in that AFC Championship. And so, that's now the difference with Kansas City. Like, Mahomes doesn't really have to, power it on, right? But it's like he has the targets to do it if needed. Like Travis Kelce today, I think he only had like 13, 14 receiving yards. But no, Hollywood Brown makes plays and Xavier Worthy makes plays. And then we seen Juju today, like, huh? Like, and it's like, last week Juju had nothing. He didn't have a target. I don't even think Hopkins had a target last week against his former team. And it's like, still, they make it work. Kelce doesn't need to go off. Pacheco had one big play in the game, and that was to give him, that first down. But then Kareem Hunt in the first half, he's running the ball. He gets the touchdown. He was, getting the offense moving on their first drive. And it's just like, I mean, Kansas City is literally now like the ultimate, like I don't mean to like praise the team. I'm a Texans fan. We lost to them last week, but they just make the plays. And Mahomes now, Justin, I think is now second tied for playoff wins all time.
Yeah.
That is bizarre, Justin. He has not even been in the league for 10 years, and he didn't even play his rookie year. He only played one game. He started the last week of the season, but it's just like, wow, Justin, it's historic. What I think about the Chiefs going forward, listen, I picked Philadelphia to win the Super Bowl in the preseason. I picked these two teams to match up, but Justin, I got some thinking to do in the next couple of days in our next episode. I got some thinking to do because I don't know, man. San Francisco last year had Christian McCaffrey, and Kittle and Debo and Ayuk in his best season, and they still lost. So Philadelphia with Saquon, I mean, I think Saquon is equally as talented as Christian McCaffrey, but I mean, what I saw last season and what we've saw this year, what we saw tonight, Justin, I don't know what to think. I mean, what are your thoughts here? I mean, do I have a valid point? I mean, I'm not heading that way, and I don't want to spoil it. We still have an episode later this week, but I'm really rethinking my Super Bowl winning pick. I don't know. What do you think, bud?
I mean, yeah, if you saw, there's a stat too that I saw during the game. Now that the Chiefs have won this game, they've won 17 straight one-possession games that come down to the wire. They just get it done. And it's at a point where I'm like, fourth quarter is happening, and they are if they're within a range of 7 or even 10 points, I'm like, no, they'll probably pull this one out still. Like, they still just do it and do it time and time again. I want to think that Philadelphia has a strong chance because they've looked so good and they put up 55 points today. But, gosh, you can't count out the Chiefs. You can't bet against the Chiefs. It's just a losing proposition to do. I'm just really, really glad the refs didn't decide this game. Yes,
was a
that
good
would have
game.
been that. It was a very good, very clean game, and as you mentioned, big props to these old heads, Juju Smith-Schuster, or at least forgotten players. Juju, 2 big catches, uh, and Kareem Hunt, just about all game making big rushing yards. I saw that. Did you see that one play where he was about to lose 2 or 3 yards, and just his power alone got him 2 or 3 yards past the line of scrimmage? It was like a
Yeah.
crazy impressive play. They get it done when they need to get it done. Kind of diverting the attention now to the Bills. What does it look like going forward? They keep.
Well,
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, Justin, you got to give Josh Allen a playmaker here.
Yeah.
I mean, I realize this tonight, but I think Kincaid is a disappointment there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the contract situation is on Dalton Knox, but I think it's time for a new tight end uh, for the Bills. I think these two tight ends are just not fit for this offensive scheme. I think you kind of keep. I mean, can Keon Coleman make the next step, Justin? I mean, he was a non-factor these playoffs, basically all season. He probably had like 2 or 3 flashes this season. Not the guy, it makes you kind of wonder. Could have traded a little, up for Brian Thomas, or make kind of a splash for Worthy? I mean, they let Kansas City get Worthy. I mean, why? I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it's sad to see Josh Allen go out again. I really felt for him because what a throw he made to Kincaid there in that final drive, the final play we saw to Josh Allen this year, and his potential MVP campaign, which we'll hear from in a couple weeks. We went to Kincaid and he wasn't able to get the. When I first saw that play live, Justin, I thought it hit the ground, but I think he actually was able to catch it. He was able.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it went through his arms, right, like his elbows or something like
Uh-huh.
that.
Uh-huh.
So going forward, Justin, they got to get him a couple new wide receivers. I don't know if Amari Cooper is gonna leave, retire. Who knows what he's doing going forward?
Yeah.
Keon Coleman has been Curtis Samuel has been a massive disappointment there. They need to get him out of there. The 2 tight ends there, and that's what I think. I think the defense is somewhat solid. I just think you need to get Josh Allen a dynamic offense. They seem at times one dimensional. But man, Kansas City was able to stop those running plays those run attempts from Josh Allen. But yeah, going forward, Justin, I think that with Buffalo they need a strong linebacker. Like I like Milano there, but they need a leader there, a real leader, a true leader there, a linebacker and a wide receiver, an alpha wide receiver, and maybe get a trade away those tight ends, man. Get you something in return. I don't think those tight ends just fit Josh Allen's scheme. He needs a tight end. He needs a good tight end. I mean, at least like an Evan Ingram or something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at least.
Yeah, no, you took the words right out of my mouth. From what I said during the game, I said this offense is too one-dimensional. It was Josh Allen, Josh Allen, Josh Allen. All these like 1-yard runs, they're like one of the most difficult things for the Bills to get done. With the QB sneaks, and then like James Cook was also he was phenomenal. He needs to stick around, but you're right. Keon Coleman, a no-show. Curtis Samuel gets in the end zone, but he doesn't really contribute anywhere else in that game. The 2 tight ends are weak. Kincaid, man, I watch him on the field. I'm just like, yeah, whatever play's going to Kincaid is probably not going to work out. Weirdly enough, the best player, best pass catcher for the Bills today was Matt Collins. He had 2 big plays, a touchdown and the big play to get them in the first and goal.
Yeah.
So yeah, Matt Collins. So we keep him around maybe as the 3rd or 4th wide receiver. But as much as I love like guys like Shakir, who I think he did well in his role this year, he's not a wide receiver 1. He needs to be like your wide receiver 3, like your 3rd or 4th target on your team.
Yeah.
Hopefully Keon Coleman, obviously they're gonna have to keep him and kind of keep trying to build him up. So he'll be there. Shakir will still be there. But yeah, Samuel, they need to move on and get a bigger and better name.
Yeah.
Like if go big and buy T. Higgins, or if you're in the draft, like if you can get like a Luther Burden, Tetman Millen, or I even like like he's been growing. Matthew Golden and Isaiah Bond, those 2 Texas wide receivers.
Absolutely.
Like somebody very capable like that needs to step in for Buffalo. But the thing that's good news is Joe Brady, their offensive coordinator, who has done a really good job this year, was in talks to take head coaching gigs elsewhere, but he has pulled his name now from any head coaching opportunity, so he will still be there calling plays for them, which I'm happy about. I mean, he did a pretty good job They scored 29 points against this really solid defense. To me, they're lacking playmakers on the field, and so. But overall, really good season for Buffalo. I thought they were going to be wild card to possible miss playoffs just based on losing Diggs, losing Gabe Davis, and not having a super promising defense. But the only sad thing too is Von Miller might retire after this year. He was a very
All
good
right.
piece for them.
Yeah.
And I think they're missing secondary pieces too. I
Yeah.
think so. There are a lot of things I think Buffalo needs to fix. Unfortunately, they lose in the same fashion they continue to lose every year, usually to the
Jeez, man.
Chiefs and by
Wow.
one score. So that's tough for them. But now it sets the stage for the Eagles and the Chiefs, a rematch. The holding penalty that haunts my dreams and nightmares
Yeah.
with James Bradbury, and how the Chiefs got away with that victory. Now you get an experienced Eagles Super Bowl playoff contending team against obviously the best team, the dynasty in the Chiefs. What is going to go down? Who will come out victorious? We have 2 weeks till the golden day. But later this week and heading into next week, we will discuss and predict it ourselves. So keep staying tuned to that. But also, as we mentioned in our last couple of episodes, Super Bowl week, that is an exciting week, which means we're bringing some festivities to this podcast, super special episodes, 2025 hot takes, things we learned in 2024. We're going to post our fantasy awards episode for this season. We're going to have so many guests that you have seen in the past and maybe some of you that haven't seen. I'm really excited for us to discuss that. We're going to have even sprinkle some college football in there, sprinkle in maybe a mock draft. We are very excited with everything coming towards the week of the Super Bowl. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. We're excited about what's going forward. What a day of football it was. We have Eagles, Chiefs, and Genoa. Send us out.
Justin, what a great Super Bowl it's about to be. So excited. But Justin, the road to the Super Bowl, we still have 2 weeks. Ton of guests we'll have on, a
Yeah.
ton of talk. We'll get some predictions. We might have to have a little tally mark. He wants Chiefs, he's got Eagles,
Yeah, right.
and get some score predictions. What a fun next couple of weeks it's going to be. I can't wait until the final team holds that Lombardi there, Justin. So exciting. Can't wait. This is why we do it, Justin. This is why we cover football, for that trophy, for the Lombardi, the right to hoist the Lombardi there, the last team standing. So thank you, Dewey Nation, for watching. We got a ton of content coming to you guys these next couple weeks, Super Bowl content, and much, much more there. So thank you guys for watching. We love you guys. And as always,
Peace.
peace.